excited, but I wanted to start in Seattle here with these underreactions. I do not want to underreact to how awesome the Super Bowl is going to be for their pair of 2023 first-round picks, who I take some sort of like mama bear credit in introducing them. Devin Witherspoon and Jackson Smith-Njigba did not know one another. We're in Kansas City at the draft, and it's already become truly one of the best draft day duos we've ever seen. They have a chance to fuel the team to a Lombardi in year 3, and they've combined for 5 Pro Bowls already in their early careers, 2 All-Pros. We might be adding an Offensive Player of the Year to that soon here as well. John Schneider landing both of these guys in the same draft. This is really looking like an all-time heist for that grizzly John Schneider, who I need to get on the show. I can't figure out how JSN was even available at pick 20 looking back. How was this kid around at pick 20? The guy who Tom Brady says is like a figure skater out there with these beautiful routes and his body and all the things and his abilities and skills. That's besides the point, though. The point is that they're both in Seattle and has been absolute magic. And it is personal to me, and it's all about me. Because back in 2023, feels like a true lifetime ago. Morning of the draft, 2 prospects came by the show, and they happened to be these 2 future Seahawks. First, I got to meet JSN. I was so excited. We talked about, like, oh, this night you're going to walk across the stage. What will that be like? And, you know, Garrett Wilson told me that JSN's going to be better than him, and Chris Olave. And I had the chance to meet a very earnest, serious young man whose life was about to change. And as he was leaving the stage, I introduced him to another kid I was going to have on the show with no agenda, no team to him yet, and that was Devin Witherspoon. As he sat down and we talked about how he loves to hit people, and I remember he loves to talk trash. I loved both of these players. I loved both of their souls, I guess you could say. As you can see, I'm like eating up what they have to say. It was great. And of course, none of us knew at the time what was about to happen 2 years later, but this is like my personal attachment and fandom to them because Devin, of course, goes 5th overall. I remember him being so juiced. Look at him watching the Seahawks take JSN at 20. He's so excited. They met hours earlier on my set, and if that wasn't enough, I did get to sit down, thank you, with both of them last Super Bowl. I think they were there on behalf of Bounty as besties. We reflected on this, and I watched the interview back with my producer, Brian, here earlier this week. I believe we were blessed enough to have the Lombardi trophy on set, as we do from time to time, and this sort of got me in my feels. What would it mean to you guys to get to hoist this and touch this one day? It's 7 pounds.
I couldn't even describe the feeling. I just can't wait for when it's my turn.
Have you visualized it? How much thought do you put into that moment?
Put a lot of thought to it. That's the reason why we can work hard in the all season. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why teams trade and try to sign different people, you know, to be the best team so we go out there and win that trophy one day.
You know, I love the game, and I feel like my teammates can feel that, and, you know, I'm going to give everything, you know, to this organization to, you know, get one of those.
This is less than a year ago. It feels like destiny. I remember asking them both, you're so young, you're ready to inherit the targets left by Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. How are you going to do that? And Witherspoon, and I could not be more excited for them or proud to have gotten to know them right after the very start of their NFL journeys together. It really feels so special, and we'll see if they get to hoist that 7-pound Lombardi at the end of next week. Okay, next up, based off of the cruel mistress that is the internet and these comments that I've gotten about Drake May and Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady and how they're carried by their defenses and all this drama, we are underreacting to the fact, y'all, that every quarterback that has ever won anything has had a good defense. We need to stop using this stupid, well, he ought to grow defense. That is not a point to take and discredit a quarterback in the National Football League, because there have been plenty of quarterbacks with great defenses who haven't won a damn thing. But there aren't many quarterbacks who've won Super Bowls without top defenses. I'm going to prove it, so you can't argue me, but you will anyway. To put it into perspective, take a look at this. This is every quarterback who has won multiple rings. There are 13 of them. The greatest of the great are on this list. You cannot argue that. These 13 dudes have combined for a whopping 37 rings. Only 5 of those rings came without a top 10 scoring defense. Dost thou understand? Are you smart enough to understand what I'm saying? Brady, Montana, Bradshaw, Aikman, Big Ben, Elway, even all the way back to Bart Starr. They're the biggest legends to ever play the position. None of those guys won a single ring without a top-tier defense. Does that mean they don't deserve credit for winning? Question marks? Question mark? Question marks? Here's what's even crazier. Come down this whirlwind with me, this tunnel. Of those 5 who won without a top defense, it's miraculously and like an anomaly. Eli's 2 were among those. Peyton's first one came with defenses that ranked in the bottom half of the league, which is so insane. It's like such an anomaly. They deserve so much credit for that. Even those defenses had Hall of Famers on them who had game-changing plays, though, right? You had Strahan, Dwight Freeney, anyone like that happens. I feel like we have we're just miserable people. We have lost the plot entirely, and this should be obvious, but apparently isn't anymore, so I'm going to say it. Being a great quarterback is ultimately about figuring out what your team needs you to do to win the game and not also lose the game, okay? Manage the game. It's a good thing, and sometimes, yes, that's throwing for a gazillion yards. We've seen it. Sometimes it's knowing when to rein it in and let other things work themselves out and make plays when you can. Check the ball down. Play it safe. Tom Brady, literally the GOAT of this. He was the best at that, and that's why he has 7 rings. Can you deny? Like, you're going to say he got carried those first couple? Like, what? And so when it comes to Drake May, at 23 years young, I'm very impressed with his ability to do what Tom Brady did, what Patrick Mahomes hath done, those other quarterbacks you saw on that list. We know he's got big game in him. We know he's got big throws in him. He has shown it all this year, and that is why he is an MVP finalist. End of story. Quickly to Josh McDaniels. Woo, this is really wordy. Okay, but I want to get this out. We talked about, I have a producer on my show named Cal Filson, and he grew up a Patriots fan, and obviously the Patriots are near and dear to my heart. They gave me my first, taste of greatness in the NFL and reeled me in and gave me an opportunity, and I have a real soft spot in my heart for these Patriots. Seattle, oh my gosh, Seattle Patriots is like my favorite Super Bowl. It was unbelievable to me. But we got to thinking, Cal and I in Hamilton, about Josh McDaniels. And one of the reasons that Drake May manages these games so well, because he has the OC who's been there and done that thing so many times. We are underreacting to this being Josh McDaniels' 9th Super Bowl appearance. 9, you guys. I think a win in this one puts him into the conversation with the greatest offensive play callers that we've ever seen in this league. This guy who started with the Pats, this guy right here, no visor, I hardly recognize him. He starts with the Pats. He's a personnel assistant. This is 2001, y'all. He had a shot at ring number 7, right, this next weekend. That's insane. Ring number 7. This puts him in the most impressive career arc ever. Take a look, and let me make this clear. I am not diminishing any of his accomplishments in any other season. Anyone you talk to that played under him in New England, top to bottom, will tell you what he has meant to that team, those teams that have cashed in. But to the public at large, Tom Brady and Belichick are always going to get the bulk of the credit. And maybe they should. Maybe Kraft gets a little credit, but it's, you always have that, but you had Brady, but you... Fair or not, Josh has been a divisive figure in this league after things did not work out in Denver, after things did not work out in Vegas. But what he's done this year is so impressive. We're not going to underreact to it going into this. To help Drake May make the jump from talented rookie to MVP candidate, to take this offense from bottom 3 to top 3 in the span of a year, he has become undeniable, right? We can all give that to him. He doesn't have a cast of established all-pros either. I don't think McDaniels or Drake have gotten enough credit with the way he's helped draw the best out of guys on this roster, okay? The man knows how to coach an offense, a Super Bowl winning big moment offense. And whatever happened as a head coach doesn't diminish what he's been able to contribute and lead with these teams. Vrabel, phenomenal head coach. This team is not here if we didn't bring McDaniels back as well. Short break here. I have a feeling Brian Hoyer agrees with me. We'll talk to him after this. Think I'm going to ask you about the